Most cold cases don't fade because time passes. They fade because someone decides to stop looking. In this case, evidence wasn't destroyed. It wasn't hidden. It was documented and then ignored. Tonight, we're reopening a file that was never truly closed. And once you hear what investigators already knew, you'll understand why this case makes people uncomfortable. The town was the kind of place where people left doors unlocked. She wasn't famous. She wasn't wealthy. She didn't have enemies, at least none on record. And that's important, because people like her don't just vanish. At 7:18 a.m., she made coffee. At 7:41, she locked her door. At 8:02, she was seen by someone who would later say, "Nothing seemed wrong." That sentence would later become a problem. At the time, no one questioned it. They should have. When she was found, there were no signs of struggle, and that's what immediately raised questions. Investigators noted something unusual, then moved on. This evidence alone should have delayed any conclusion. What it was, why it mattered, why it contradicted theory. Instead, it was filed and forgotten. This was never properly tested. Not because technology didn't exist, but because a decision had already been made. This evidence directly challenged the timeline. Pause. And timelines don't lie unless someone edits them. The official story of Amelia Earhart's disappearance is simple. Her plane ran out of fuel, crashed into the vast Pacific, and sank without a trace. Authorities concluded the case quickly, but that's not the full story. This official version doesn't explain the dozens of credible radio distress calls logged for days after she vanished. It also contradicts the idea that they couldn't survive a landing, as modern forensics suggest a skeleton found on Nikumaroro Island could be hers. And this was never addressed. Local islanders at the time reported seeing a captured Western woman and man. The official story is clean and convenient, but the truth might be far more complex and unsettling than we've been led to believe. Buried in the report was a detail most people never notice. Because it's not dramatic, but it changes everything. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The case was labeled inactive. Years passed, files gathered dust. So here's the question investigators never answered. If the evidence was there, why stop looking? And who benefits from a case staying cold? This was Silent Evidence. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.